How's it going, everyone? My name is DrapPep. Welcome back to a brand new installment of this series. In another video, not connected to this series whatsoever, I've talked about a video game idea that I had came up with. At least, I think I came up with it. There could be a game that exists like this, and I just don't know about it yet, but I'm pretty sure my idea is original. I've talked about this to friends and I've talked about this on live streams, and I'm sure if I keep doing this, someone will eventually make my idea and most likely steal the credit for it. Most likely saying things like, I came up with this idea, I'm the one that created this, pay no attention to that YouTuber over there, it's all my idea. But regardless, I still have an idea for a video game. Now, if you've listened to much of this series, you know I'm very much into Dungeons and Dragons. And I have a Dungeons and Dragons video game idea. You see, I also like Elder Scrolls. And I've been thinking, how cool would that be if there was a game where all of the players play the game as if it's Elder Scrolls, while the Dungeon Master is kind of like this malevolent being in the sky in virtual reality using VR. Or if you don't have VR, just, console, controller, whatever. The idea is that there should be a menu with pre-made buildings and forests and whatever, and you could just pretty much drag and drop it onto the map. That way it makes map making so much more easier. Now, the players, when they come into villages or cities, they can go into any building, and the DM can enter any NPC and play the game from the NPC's perspective. Now, of course, there's the, auto-generated NPCs where, like, you put an NPC down and they start moving around on their own and they can interact on their own. Even when you put enemy NPCs down, they will attack on their own. Or you can enter an enemy NPC and fight your players, so that way you kind of increase the difficulty based on your own game level. It should be that the DM has full control over the world, handing out quests and rewards, and that the players pretty much are just playing Dungeons and Dragons, but like as if it's Skyrim or Oblivion, where it's a fully immersive game where it's legitimately Dungeons and Dragons just without the dice. Of course, there's an idea of, kind of like Baldur's Gate where there's dice, sure, but I kind of like the idea of being able to play the game kind of like Tiny Tina's Wonderland. Tiny Tina's Wonderland is Dungeons and Dragons, but with guns. The only difference is that there's no player that gets to be the DM. I want a player to be the DM. Someone that can build the world and form the quests. I've done something similar to this with Minecraft, where all the players were in survival mode and the DM was in creative mode. And that was actually a lot of fun. A lot of fun. Hard, though, because you have to craft everything. But honestly, a lot of fun. And the players loved it. It felt like we were playing Dungeons and Dragons. I swear it did. I want that, but instead of having to craft everything, it'd be kind of nice if everything was already made and you just have to place it somewhere. It should be fun to make the world. It should be fun to interact with the players in that game. It should be fun for both the players to be players and fun for the DM to be the DM. Now, one of the highlights of this idea is the fact that no arguing. You see, I'm a DM, and I make, quests, and I have to be a DM. But something I run into a lot is that players will argue over almost anything. Mostly because they want to be extra. And there's nothing wrong with being extra. You want to add a little flavor text to what you're doing. That's fine. But all of that arguing does, in fact, take away from the game. Now, of course, I'm not talking down on my players. My players are wonderful people who, it's sure, we've come not come eye to eye to a lot of things, but we usually move past it pretty quickly. I've been in other games, however, is what I'm talking about, where those games, the arguing really got out of hand. I'm of course worried that my players are listening to this, and I don't want them to be offended. But I swear I'm not talking about you guys. I'm talking about other games I've been in. But the problem is that there's a misunderstanding sometimes when reading the rules or what abilities can do, and a lot of arguing and bickering can come from that. But from a video game where everything's already pre-programmed, it's kind of hard to argue with that. When I was playing Tiny Tina's Wonderland, for example, I was playing with friends and we had fun. Mostly because everything's already been made. The guns have certain abilities and your powers have certain abilities. There's no way to argue about that. So all that's left really is just to play the game. So imagine a Dungeons and Dragons game where all the players are in Elder Scrolls and the DM is a floating head in the sky that can place things wherever they want. There's no arguing about what you can do and what you can't do because, well, it's already programmed. There's nothing much you can do. Now, what will be interesting is if the DM can create their own items, be able to add enchantments and extra abilities to loot. So that way, when the players encounter a mission and they pass, the loot that they get is custom. I did this in Minecraft when I play tested this idea, and it was awesome. So cool. There's also this idea that I want where if a player wanted to solo mission to level grind, they should. They should be able to level grind as much as they want and be able to level up their stats. Especially during times when everyone's not together to play, they should be able to go into a training field to level grind their characters so that way they could do better in missions for everyone else. Because after all, the game of Dungeons and Dragons is not about competing against the other players, it's about working together. Sometimes working together against the DM is how it feels sometimes. But there should never be a moment when a player should be like, I want to be better than the other ones. I'm going to be the best. I'm the main character. No. To want to make your character stronger in for the sake of the party should be recommended. That should be celebrated. You want to be better for the party? You want your character stronger so that you can protect the other players? That's called being a tank. Yes, do that. So what, your character's 15 levels higher than everyone else's? It's not the fact that you're trying to outshine them, you're trying to keep their characters alive. So that should have a feature in the game where people be able to level grind and make their character stronger for the sake of the other party members. I also want it to be where you can take your character and join other campaigns with your character at the level with the items that you have. That way you can continue playing when you're not playing with the rest of the campaign, enjoy other people's stories, gather items and loot, and then when you go back to your main game, you have all these new ideas on your character, all these new experiences, and a stronger character as well. Someone that has now been experienced, and now you can lead the party into more safer quests. You have no idea how much I love this idea. I think about this all the time. I want this game to exist so badly. The idea of just being able to play Dungeons and Dragons in a cooperative, non-argumentative way where one person is like in VR being able to spawn in anything they want, entering any NPC they want to play with the players. Here's an even cooler idea. There should be modules, games that are already fully made where an AI is the DM, so that way everyone gets to play as a player. And that you pretty much are playing a story mode, but there should be like multiple story modes. This way, everyone gets a chance of being a player. That way, the DM who doesn't want to be the DM this week can be a player and just let the AI kind of take over. And I don't mean like ChatGPT and character AI. I mean like video game AI. You know, just the basic run of the mill bot. And that way, you get to experience modules in a way of, you get to see what the game can do, what's the potential, what this game can provide to give you ideas of what to make. I really hope this game exists. If it doesn't, I hope it exists soon. Soon is what I would like to see. But until then, I'm going to keep sharing my idea until it becomes real. That's going to be it for this episode. I want to thank everyone for tuning in.